Namaste. Good evening to everyone out there. This is Destiny on a Saturday, December 21st, 2019. Today, I posted on my social media pages that I will be doing a lot of discussions on food addiction and the causes of food addiction. And I was going to be starting a series. So tonight, I have information that I just want to go ahead on and get started on this topic because right now it's just something in me that it just keep turning over and over and over, and I know that is a sign that this message has to come forth. So I'm going to be talking about drugs in our foods or causing food addiction. I'm behind the scene and I just want to lay low. I don't want to put my presence out there in front of the camera. I want you all really focus on everything that is being spoken in the video through me, okay? I want you to listen with your ears and listen with your heart. And I want you to hear this. Hear the whole matter, the whole conclusion of the matter. Don't touch that button. Do not touch that button. Listen. Mom, I ate the last bag of chips. Mom, I ate all 20 cookies. Now there's no more. But Mom, all the ice cream is gone. I ate the chocolate one and I ate the strawberry, Mom, but there's no more left. That is food addiction. That is a sign of food addiction. Food addiction refers to when the need to eat, it becomes so compulsive and so uncontrollable. And this compulsive behavior may be in response to an emotion such as stress, sadness, not feeling good about yourself, or not feeling good about your appearance, or even anger. And there's so many things. Sometimes food addiction you eat sometimes because you're not consciously aware that you're really needing food. It's just that you got so much going on around you and so much is pulling your time and your attention, and that all you think about is calming yourself down to the place where it seems to quieten your mind, and sometimes you just pick up food because like it's just breaking that nerve that's wrecking your brain, your mind. Well, you know what I'm saying? Just stay with me. Stay with me. The human body knows it needs food to function, and we all know that. But listen, but food addiction is when a person becomes dependent on certain types of foods, and then other times, like I said, they just eat because it's like soothing maybe nerves or emotions or things that's going on within their body. They're not realizing at the moment that food is calming them, so they constantly eat to soothe that as well. An addiction for food is when a person, like I said, becomes dependent on these certain types of foods. And these foods that contribute to a food addiction they are usually unhealthy types of foods, such as chips and candies and white breads and cakes and donuts and all kinds of junk stuff to that nature. But a lot of times when you just feel like you just have that need to eat to calm yourself down, you could be picking up anything, any types of food, any kinds of food, even vegetables or whatever that may be around. It's just at that point you just eating because it seems to soothe and comfort the stress level that you may be facing at that moment. But a lot of times, like I said, most of these food addictions are usually unhealthy. and they are usually based toward chips and candy and white breads and things to that nature. However, most people find themselves, like I said, eating most anything at times, even when they are not hungry. Eating food excessively and in a quick time of span may be the reasons why people feel that eating can replace things that they feel like that are missing in their life. You know what I'm saying? And then food addiction is closely associated with a eating disorders, things like obesity, bulimia, and even binge eating disorder. Now, there was one theory that suggested this, that individuals can develop a chemical dependency to particular foods in the same way that people develop addictions to alcohol, to drugs, or even cigarettes. Now, I say when consuming food triggers chemicals in the brain, such as dopamine, that acts as a reward and give pleasurable sensations to the individual. Now, these chemicals can also act as a release from emotional distress. Now, I hope I didn't lose you by the way I phrased that. Now, I'm going to I'm going to repeat this, okay? Now, what I'm saying is consuming food, a lot of times it triggers the chemicals in the brain, such as the dopamine, which acts as a reward, and then it gives these pleasurable sensations to the individual that is craving these foods. And these chemicals also act as a release, like I said before, from emotional distress. So you eating a lot of times we're not constantly aware because you have so many trigger points or emotions or nerves or things like that, anxiety, whatever, could be just triggering your brain, and you feel that eating soothes that. But let me say this, however, there are other research that argues that there is not enough evidence to say that food has the same addictive qualities as alcohol or drugs or cigarettes. Now, like I said, those were some researchers that have said that was their theory on this. But this research also states that the term food addiction is misleading because it suggests that ingredients themselves are addictive. So it's the additives, I say, this is what my beliefs are. I believe that it's the additives added in the processing of foods that triggers these addictions to the foods that the people are eating. Okay, that's my theory. Now, addiction can be split into two categories. So let's look at it like this. Addiction to a substance, such as drug or alcohol, to a behavior such as eating. Okay? Now, food addiction, it is argued that it is an addiction to the behavior of eating, more so than addiction to substance, like the drugs and the alcohol and the cigarettes. Okay? So it is estimated that around 35% of adults in the United States, they are obese. But however, people who are obese equate to only about 1/3 of those with a food addiction. And even though food addiction is sometimes associated with weight gain. So, while food addiction may contribute to obesity, it is not the only factor. So we have to look at other things, that's going on within our bodies or whatever that is happening. We got to look beyond things in a different way too, so we can kind of like put a pinpoint on really actually what's really taking place or what's really happening with in those such times when these things are happening or occurring. Is it due that I'm gaining weight because of my excessive amount of foods? Am I contributing it to my food addiction because I'm eating constantly, so I'm obese or whatever? But let me say this. One review found that up to 10% of people with food addiction, they were underweight. So there's another thing we can also think about. They were underweight at a healthy weight or even an overweight rather than obese. So it may not be that food addiction causes obesity. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, people have different opinions, different theories on different matters. So everybody had just had to, as I said, weigh out your situation, do your own studies and research on your own so you can find out which theory or which situation may resonate with what you have studied. So then I have this question I'm going to ask. What is causing this food addiction? I mean, what is causing it? What is making people constantly so compulsively want to eat nonstop all the time? They craving food or they just eating with not awareness that they're really just pouring down food, by tons and tons of food every time throughout the day, around the clock. They are always picking up food. So what is causing this food addiction? And I can't answer this for you, but I can give you my analogy. And this is what I've come to believe. What I believe is that the subset of the many additives and chemicals that populate and contaminate the foods that we eat. And I believe that is what causing basically these food addictions. I would think because they're putting so much chemicals, GMOs, so many different food colorings and all kinds of artificial flavors and everything within our foods. Those are drugs. You know what I'm saying? Those are really drug related. And I think so many different additives and so many different chemicals, I think these things are contaminating our foods, and that is what's causing our foods to onset with such addictions, that when we put these foods in our body, it offset us where we're just constantly eating and eating because we're trying to satisfy that adrenaline within us, that drug addiction within us. But also, artificial food colorings is another thing that we have to be concerned about, because that is also drugs. These artificial food colorants are one of the three categories of chemicals added directly to foods that the researchers considered along with nitrates and nitrates. And these artificial colorants are sensitized. Yes, they are sensitized from raw materials, which are obtained from coal tar or even petroleum byproducts. And all this stuff is in your food. I mean, we just got to read labels, people. We really have to take time. Stop rushing through the stores, picking up stuff off the shelves and bringing it home and stacking your shelves, pulling off your shelves in your house, and you cooking them and you never read a label. But these things are in your foods. Coal tar, C-O-A-L, coal tar, or petroleum byproducts. And some call lates, Do your research. Do your research. And all these things are bound to aluminum and metal with known as neurotoxic properties. These are chemicals. These are dangerous chemicals that is being put into our foods, and then we're taking these foods and we're putting into our bodies, and no matter that we become addicted. These are drugs. So let me conclude by saying this then, and these are my true feelings. I'm just gonna put it out there exactly how I feel about this food addiction. And I'm gonna say it like this. I know people are saying food addiction, but I don't. Okay, as I look at it, I understand what they're really saying, but I'm gonna look at it from the divine creator side of it, because he said in Genesis chapter 1 verses 29 to 31 that he given us food from the earth, grains and seeds and fruits and berries for our food. Now the creator, our God, has given us all these beautiful fruits and seeds and berries and plants and everything, fruits and all that from nature. It has to be good, because he said in Genesis also that everything that he created, it was good. It was good. All the plants he created was good. All the seeds was good. All the berries was good. All the fruits, all the plants, the trees, everything was good. Everything was good. Everything that he called forth came into being, and it was good. So it can't be the food that is causing the addiction, because what the Creator God created were perfect. It was without chemicals. It was without drugs. It was without artificial colorings. It was without all these different food additives and all these different things. I mean, the aluminum, these metal, these neurotoxic properties. We didn't have that. It was not in our foods. So what happened? Stay with me. It's not the food causing these problems or the addictions. Food is not causing these problems that we are having or carrying in our body by us putting these foods in our body, and it's not the foods that the Creator put in the universe that's causing the addiction, because food, like I said, is the Creator's means of providing for us to eat, to live. And he gave it to us, these foods, in the most wholesome, healthiest way possible. There was no drugs. I'm telling you, people, listen. So, since we're finding chemicals and all this stuff within our foods, and then we're finding ourselves craving, and we are addicted, and we are being onset because we have this these addictions that's so strong, we gotta eat all the time. Then it has to be something else that we have to look outside of than what the Creator has said. So I believe the truth is this: addiction comes through the hands, and it comes through the minds of man. Man constantly tampering with everything, putting their little signature stamp on it, and putting their little labels and signing their name on it like they created something so dear and so precious and so clean, but they just messed it up. Because ain't nobody can do anything with the purest form of perfection but the divine creator, because he's the manufacturer of the whole universe and of man. So man had his mind in it, his thinking, his stinky thing, his wrong thing. He had his hands on it. So man is totally responsible for our foods becoming poisonous, contaminated, unhealthy, losing the loss of wholesomeness without nutrients or nutritious values because of the highly addicted drugs that man is putting in foods to preserve the foods, to give foods the beautiful looks, the beautiful colors, and the beautiful textures. And then there's another reason, guys, you better think about this. They're putting all these chemicals and all these GMOs and all these additives and all these drugs and all these different things that is harmful and dangerous in our foods because they have another purpose, which is to genocide the population of mankind. And don't act like you're surprised. They've been trying to downsize this generation for many, many years. And they're doing all kinds of things to get rid of us, not just through foods, but there are so many other ways. But right now we're talking about foods. They are trying to genocide us using these chemicals and all this poison and all these things that they put in their foods. They don't want you to know that though. Now I'm telling you, they don't want you to know that. That's supposed to be their little secret. But we know better. We are waking up now. We are waking up to the truth. We are waking up to our divine consciousness self. We are becoming consciously aware. And we're listening now to the voice and the tone of the universe. And we're paying attention. And we're doing researches now on our own. And we are seeing that something is not adding up. Because this is not the way of the divine creator. This is not the plan of the divine creator. So man got his hands into something that he should not have his hands into. And they're putting those things out there for a purpose. And they don't want us to know all about what they are doing. It's true that rats and monkeys and humans show addiction-like behavior when exposed to highly palatable, calorie-dense foods. And sometimes even preferring them to drugs such as cocaine. That's how serious this is. But I've come to see from my studies and my research, I have come to see that nearly all the foods that elicit addictive behavior share one thing in common. They have been significantly altered. I'm telling you guys, they have been enhanced through manufactured flavor chemicals and ingredients, also known as drugs. You said it. Drugs. Y'all better take this serious. You're drugging yourself when you're putting all these foods in your bodies and you're not reading labels and find out what chemicals, what drugs, and that is being placed in these foods. And the more foods that you stuff in your bodies, the longer and the more foods, the more addicted you become. Now, quite simply, food is not addicted. Now, we have to agree with that. Food is not addicted. It's the drugs that are addicted. And food companies are putting drugs in our foods. And we have to agree with that. Okay, so we can move on. The correct name for this problem is food additive addiction, or perhaps refined food addiction. Okay, so drugs in our foods are causing food addiction. And that's because each of those substances has inherently addictive properties containing a specific psychoactive compound that causes intoxication, dependence, or withdrawal. Such addictive substances rarely occur in nature, guys, and you know that. It does not happen in Mother Gaia. It does not happen in nature because Creator is perfect. He has not given us any poisons in our foods. So this does not occur in nature, but they are typically created through the processing of food. And this is done by the hands of man and the thinking that comes out of the thought of man. So think on that. Your foods It's not a it's not the addiction, it's the drugs that is in it. Guys, I will pick this up later at another time and I will go deeper into some more study. Meantime, do your research, study, and find out more about all these chemicals that we are eating, that we're consuming on a day basis. And guys, this concerns me so much because so many people are stuffing so much food into their bodies during the process of one day. The more you stuff in, the more hype you're going to get, the more drugged out you're going to become, the more affected your body's going to become. It's killing our bodies. It's killing us. It's killing us physically, mentally, emotionally, as well as spiritually. And it's destroying our bodies. That's why we have to wise up. And we have to, hey, put a stop to all this. And we got to learn how to start it, taking control of our own health. Man, heal thyself. You got to somehow start somewhere, getting you some land, some property, go get you some plant pots, some flowering pots, and you got to start making your own garden, start feeding yourself. You got to know where these foods are coming from. If you're going to go in this store, you got to know what manufacturer companies are packing these foods and where they're putting these foods. We got to know. We got to start asking questions. We got to start making phone calls to these manufacturers and asking them, what is in this product? And tell me the names of the things that you put in this product. We got to. And then we got to do researches on our own. And if you don't have time for that, grow your own crops. I have my flowering pots out there on my balcony. I don't have land yet, but I do grow some plants and things on my balcony, and they are beautiful. And I know they're wholesome and they're healthy, and there's no GMOs in it. There's no fertilizer and all those chemicals because I grew them from my own hands. So guys, take this serious. Take this serious. I know a lot of times we don't want to overeat, and sometimes make us feel bad when we see ourselves just like we can't stop eating. But there's something wrong with that. It just does not really necessarily come from your mind and your body really not needing that. It's just that you are drugged. You are walking around on drugs. So think about that. And I'll pick this up another time. As a creator, God gives me further information and things that he wants me to speak on this topic. I will be back. Meantime, do your part in your research. And we'll talk at the next time we sit down together and share this conversation. At the meantime, namaste. Good night. Love you guys out there. Watch what you're putting in your bodies. Watch the foods. I'm so serious. You got to take this serious. Start reading labels and writing down all these different things. And then you do researches on these different things that they are putting into these foods. Do a deep study. You find someone that can help you to understand the terminology of these names, and even go as far as calling manufacturers. You got to do something. We got to fight together to overcome this death trap that they are trying to enslave our minds and our bodies so they can genocide us. I'll talk to you in the next video. Love you guys. Namaste. Good night. And I'm in this video before midnight. I'll see you the next time. Good night.